haven't taken it away. They haven't changed anything. It just buys you much less. In the Weimar Republic hyperinflation, in 3.5 years, $1 million life insurance policy went down to about 1/1000th of a cent. This is what inflation can do. You know, a great example of this is gold and silver, or gold in the 1920s. A 1-ounce gold eagle had $20 written on it, and you could change that back and forth for a $20 bill. It was convertible. You could go to the grocery store and just do one of those. What would that buy you is the question. Buy you a finely tailored men's suit, a shirt, a tie, a belt, and shoes. Fast forward to today. What does $20 get you? It doesn't even get you a date night at Chili's. But what does that one gold eagle still get you? At about, you know, on a gold eagle, about $1,800, $1,900. That gets you a finely tailored men's suit, a shirt, tie, belt, and shoes. It has maintained its purchasing power. And this is how we all survive that. When people start saying, oh, nobody's taking away from my social securities, but oh my word, I can't afford to live anymore. Why? I'll figure it out. See, this is where gold and silver will actually maintain that purchasing power parity over time, and your standard of living won't erode nearly as much. Nobody comes out of a hyperinflation unscathed. But boy, you could at least survive and actually grow your portfolio. Nothing will change the heartache and the pain and everything else you're seeing as everyone else is just collapsing, and mommies and daddies can't feed babies, and you know, even wonderful Christian people can turn into monsters when their babies are starving. This is what happens. This is what's been happening in Greece. We're going to be Greece times 100 because we're so much bigger, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
I had this question relating to what the gentleman said, talking about these FEMA camps. I guess Homeland Security is buying all these weapons. They're buying all these bullets. What are our legislators saying about this? It seems like we know more than they do, or they don't tell us what they know. I mean, I think we're like sheep. And I think they do think we're stupid, and I guess we are stupid.
Well, look what we just voted in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the FEMA camps exist, but they don't exist. I mean, you're never going to get an answer on that. You know, just like the debt. The debt is not an issue to politicians. I mean, it might be there, it might be reality, but you're never going to get a straight answer out of anybody.
Well, if there are these 600 FEMA camps, could someone tell me exactly where they exist? What are they like? Can we see pictures of them?
Concentration camps, USA.
Okay.
In Indiana alone, my home state, they have 8 or 9 here in Florida. They're getting well. They have gas hookups. They have railroad side tracks, everything.
I've never seen any, but just because I've never seen any doesn't mean that they don't exist. There's pictures on the internet, correct, where you can actually, people have gotten close and seen these things, and on all of them they're big fences. Evidently, I haven't seen them with the barbed wire pointed in, which means you're not trying to keep somebody out. You know, you're trying to keep somebody from
just
getting
one last thing. I belong to Operation Shoebox. And just in case you don't know, some of our troops who are in Afghanistan are now no longer receiving the hot breakfast. And they are owed 3 meals a day, and they are now not getting them.
I heard that on Glenn Beck driving up this morning. That's a shame how we can give out free cell phones, but we can't provide a breakfast for our troops that are serving in Afghanistan. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, what was your question, ma'am?
We take with the mic.
Okay.
Then I'll go up there.
That part about the doctors requiring the information on guns has been pulled out.
It has.
Regarding FEMA, they ordered 10 million MREs 2 years ago. Why? That's over 10-year supply of what they got. The states and the cities are going to go bankrupt. When they go bankrupt, the workers aren't going to be working. No trash, no water. Police and firemen may try, but the water won't be working. The jails aren't working. What's going to happen to the people in the cities? Your gold and silver is not going to buy anything. What you need is food. If I have a can of beans and you got 5 pounds of gold and you're starving, are you willing to give that up? How far are you willing to go to protect that food? You might want to share it with your neighbors, but for how long? It's your life, your family's life. It's the neighbor next door. He's going to be hungry. And when his kids come and say, "Daddy, I'm hungry," he's going to be coming looking. How far are you willing to go to protect?
Kirk, can I answer that? Basically, if you look at our website, thevillagesteaparty.org, we have a whole section on being prepared. And we have had one meeting where we had a lot of different suppliers that were here. So we'll continue that subject, but please, everybody go to the website and look under our prepper page, and you'll get a lot bit more information on how to be prepared on an individual and a community basis. Okay? Does that help? And that's a personal thing. It's going to depend. I've told everybody that you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. If it does come down to individual safety and preservation. Okay, next question.
How far away do you think we are from that hyperinflation? And what if, what's going to happen when we go bankrupt? I mean, people go personally bankrupt. There'll be millions of people that in that situation.
Could be millions. It's an ugly scenario. How far? Nobody has a crystal ball, so to speak. Could be a year, could be 3 years, could be 8 years. It all depends on when the rest of the world decides we are no longer going to invest in the U.S. Treasury. When they pull the U.S. reserve currency status away from us, that we've had since 1944, means all international settlements are traded in the U.S. dollar. So this is how we could amass $16.5 trillion worth of debt, because other countries, buying stuff from other countries, traded that in dollars. See, there's built-in demand for our currency. If they take that away, which they've been talking about for the last 2 years at G20 meetings, then there is no inherent demand for the US dollar, because again, nobody would want it if we have that much debt that everybody knows that we can't pay back. So it depends on our reserve currency status, how long that goes, and then on the international's willingness to keep investing in the US dollar. That's the only thing keeping it up, and nobody has an answer to that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyone in this room now who doesn't have some long-term food storage is not aware of where we are. Anyone in this room who hasn't ordered Don Wilson's Sawyer filter doesn't understand what it is. It is 20 times better than the prior generation of filters, and is at a very low price at $100. I have a friend of mine, Alan Morgan, who's done a serious search of water filtration, and the Sawyer is by far the best, and it's probably worth $300 or $400. We can get it here for $100 up until the 11th of this month. Anyone who hasn't made provisions to protect their space, unwise.
There's so much that we can do and that we have to do with all of these preservation strategies, plus making your voice heard. I mean, some encouraging news is that our voice is being heard. In the Obamacare mandate, you know what? The social conservatives' voice was heard, and now nonprofits do not have to basically go along with the day after morning pill for abortions. They got out of it. They're exempt from it now as of a few days ago. This is a good thing, what happens when we speak loud. You know, I'm sick and tired of the 3 and 5% of America, you know, being so obnoxious that they're setting policy for the rest of us. Imagine if all of us, as you know, Protestants, as Catholics, as Jewish, would actually make our voice heard in unison. It's got to be about 70% of the country. Imagine how noisy we could be if we're all fighting the same battle at the same time. Yes, sir.
Kirk, I heard you on an interview, and you talked about evangelicals and their vote. And what was that number that you said evangelicals voted for the other side? It's an astounding number. I can't remember what it was.
Boy, what was that number? It's actually astonishing. It was over 50%. I think 60% of evangelicals voted for President Obama. But the sad thing is that only 60% of evangelicals are actually registered to vote. Okay, David Barton with Wall Builders said that just because 60% are registered to vote, that doesn't mean everybody shows up to vote. You know, so how many of them show up? It could be that only 30 or 40% actual and real numbers of all the people who claim to be evangelicals actually showed up to vote. People got discouraged. But you know what? When people get discouraged, this is when we have to speak out even louder. This room should be absolutely packed tonight because we lost the election. Not the other way around.
I just wanted to say that those of us who lived through the Great Depression, 1929, etc., we survived and we weren't prepared. But the churches were full. And we did survive. And we were content. And our children and our grandchildren were not saying, gimme, can I have, I want. They didn't. They knew that if they went in a store, they eyed what they were envying, but they didn't ask for it. They knew we couldn't afford it. All right? You'll survive. Don't be frightened.
It goes back to, again, that I'm pushing your DVD tonight. That DVD, I've watched it, and the truth is, you need to get one for yourself, you need to share it with your kids, but I'll tell you what, you need to share it with your pastors. Okay, it's that important. The pastors have been on the sidelines, and we need to, they started getting involved, but they need to get a whole lot more involved before the 2014. And yes, they did survive the Depression, but those people had the ability to farm, to know how to slaughter. The city people, yeah, but there weren't as many.
But we still,
I know you survived.
highway, you could have picked dandelion.
I know, but they were more survivors than we are today. Yeah, they have more resources. We don't have them as much. We don't have the creativity to think. Okay, ma'am.
Hi, I have a question. How many Democrats that voted for Obama feel the way we do? Do they know what is happening? Do they know about the ammunition that the government is hoarding? Do they know about really outside of Hollywood who people think that they're making rules for us? Stupid, absolutely stupid. Do they think we're dumb?
I actually doubt it. Listening to the newscasters, did you see at the inauguration when Al Roker basically almost pooed himself? He was just like a little kid wanting Obama to come and say hi to him. It's like, whatever happened to rational journalism?
No, Obama is a god.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is a problem because a lot of his supporters are 50% mass delusion and 50% worship.
Well, you know what? When Obama came in, he said for the change, but he never told you what the change was. He let you believe what it was.
Remember how we used to do it in our church? You didn't, I did.
I just want to think there should be some corrections made. I have a good friend who was in Homeland Security, part of their area. And I attended a meeting here where a gentleman stood up and said, I just bought 1,000 bullets. And they were hollow points. And I went home and asked him about it. And his division alone would buy 1 to 2 million rounds of bullets, hollow points included, each year. And every week, his people are on the firing range qualifying. So some of the bullets they are buying are bought every year for that reason.
Who practices with hollow points?
Okay, yeah.
I asked him that, and his division said they did.
Interesting.
We have one comment, but this is it, okay? And
This is just a comment. I was in Texas, and I attended my first gun show in Texas with my oldest son, and talked to several of the manufacturer reps of the weapons and the ammunition. This is one of the largest gun shows in the United States, and I went around that, spent 4 hours in that gun show, and there was not one 9mm shell to be purchased in that show. Except for one guy. He said, "Are you looking for 9mm?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "I happen to have 1,000 rounds." He said, "I'll sell you." So he took out 4 boxes, 100 rounds each, and I looked at the price tag on those shells that were originally purchased, and he bought them for $8.99, Winchester shells. He sold them for $50 a box. And within 15 minutes, they were just about all gone. But on the Homeland Security thing, speaking with my son and a friend of his who happens to be a high-level Homeland Security officer in San Antonio, Texas, he was going to purchase a gun through him because he could get a discount, a handgun. Well, just yesterday, we were at the meet. He found out that the guy that runs Homeland Security in San Antonio, Texas, they were issued 2 types of guns, a Glock and a Sig Sauer. And they could purchase those guns and sell them or keep them themselves. They can no longer get those guns. They are not allowing the law enforcement people to buy those guns. Those guns are being sold to the public. The public is buying all the guns. The public, not Homeland Security right now, is buying the ammunition. They were buying ammunition, to your point, whoever said that. But the public is buying all the ammunition. There is a movement in this country. There's a lot of fear in this room. But when you go to a place like I was, I didn't fear anything. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Who's buying the guns right now? It's us.
Okay, let's stand up and give neighbors. Watch the video up online. Any new people tonight, thank you for coming out. NRA is back in the back selling tickets for a raffle that they've got, $10 a ticket. So please go back and see them. He's at the far corner. We have other information on the left-hand side on our literature table. Alan, our bookworm gentleman, will be back next week. Thank you guys for coming. Hi, Tom. Thank you for being with us tonight. Now, remember, you can watch this live, and then you can go back and watch this on an archive on our website and share it with your friends. Thank you.